Okay, so just got out of Joker and wow.
Wow. Okay.
I believe we're gonna title this video "Descent into Madness," and that's what it is. You see this guy with a mental disorder that causes him to just burst out laughing at like in wrong times and stuff.
Well,
Or
there's a scene in the movie where he's laughing because he's crying. He's having an emotional breakdown. And he gives her this card, and the card is very quick, but it basically said that he doesn't experience emotion correctly. So like, I take it as like, when he's crying, he's laughing. When he's laughing, he's crying. And again, I do apologize for my shaky hand on the camera. It's a little cold.
And no, there's a mental disorder where you either cry or laugh uncontrollably. I've heard of it. I don't know what it is. But yeah, it's just wow. I mean,
so let's just get this out of the way. This movie does not open with your traditional DC logo. It actually doesn't even say it's DC.
No, it
just said Warner Brothers. They didn't say, and it had the old school Warner Brothers logo, which I like that.
That was cool.
That was cool. It does not have a, how Justice League had like this intro, like Marvel has their like do Marvel intro. There's none of that. There's no DC logo, anything like that. Yes, this movie does take place in Gotham City. Thomas Wayne is in the movie. He's part of the plot. And if any of you guys have watched any of our reviews, we're going to spoil the crap out of this movie.
However, the end sets up Batman, if you will, which is
cool. For those of you who say, or I guess for the original Batman movie, with Michael Keaton, it was the Joker. Well, before he became the Joker, it was Jack who shot his parents. And then,
however, in the comics, the person's name was actually Joe Chill.
Joe Chill, which had no connection to the Joker whatsoever. This movie makes it where it's a random guy, and it could still be Joe Chill. Like, they could reveal later, that guy he had a clown mask on was Joe Chill. And it actually kind of sets up the whole tone of Batman's ultimate rival being the Joker. Because in this universe of Joker, his parents were killed in an alleyway by a man with a Joker mask on, or with a clown mask on. Okay, so yeah, hi everybody, it's Armadillo here. Welcome back to Two Fat Guys at the Movies.
We were on hiatus
just because, it's what we do, mid-season. Anyways, so, man, okay, so, here's the thing, and we actually have a fan? Well, I mean, the guy was like, that's the third time he's like said, hey, say hey to us when we come in on Thursday. I think he's noticed. Yeah, I think he's noticed, so we've come in every Thursday. I think he's noticed. Anyway, so he asked the question what we think of it. And our initial thought was, like we said, wow, like, it's not a superhero movie, because there's no superhero in this movie. It's a villain's film. And do you guys remember? Sorry. Go away. Okay. Do you guys remember back in the 80s when Superman came, or 70s, sorry. Superman came out. Okay movie. To today's standards, it's aged.
Oh yeah.
Batman. Okay? The original Flash TV show. Campy, corny. Wonder Woman TV show. Campy, corny. Any y'all want to talk about Batman and Robin?
No, just
Catwoman. We had a string of really bad. My point I'm making is we had a string of really bad superhero films, and then we had a couple hits in there, like you had the Sam Raimi first Spider-Man film. We're not gonna get into it, but I don't really like the second one. There's issues. I have issues with it. The first X-Men movie, for what it was good. It was Blade. I thought Blade was awesome.
Yep.
I thought all three Blades were awesome. Some people will argue with me. You could go ahead in the comments down below. Tell me You think I'm wrong. But then Marvel hit, and we had Iron Man, and here we are 10 years later. Okay? DC's had some hits. The first Batman Begins I thought was really good. The Dark Knight was really good. It's a little too long. I understand why they didn't cut any of Heath Ledger's scenes, because he had died before the film had been released. So I understand the reasoning why they didn't do that. But DC's had some hits, and Marvel's had a lot of hits. And I think what happened is that they were just trying to find the right formula for a good superhero film. Marvel found it by, let's not do a superhero film, let's do a crime drama, just happens to be superhero. Let's do a spy film, it just happens to have a superhero in it. You know, let's do, you know, and then of course, you know, you have the Avengers movies, which are very superhero-y, the traditional superhero kind of film. DC's trying to mimic that. Now, I was bringing up the person who, you know, works at the theater who stopped us and asked us how the movie was. It's the second time he's done that. You know, it's been a while since we've seen him, but anyways. Marvel, when you think about Marvel, and I'm talking about the comics here, for those of you who've never read any of the comics, you know, you can kind of just, you know, whatever. But Marvel has a lot of interesting superheroes. They don't have a lot of interesting villains. The only villains that I can think of in Marvel that are interesting, and you guys are probably thinking I'm going to say Thanos, and no, Thanos is not very interesting in the comics. The movie, you have Doctor Doom. Who else? You have you have Doc Ock.
Yeah,
he's interesting, but not too. Well, I mean, if you get more into it, he becomes Superior Spider-Man, and the reason. I mean, you know, Venom, Carnage. They're not that interesting. They're very straightforward villains. A lot of Marvel villains are very straightforward. That's why on all the movies, the villains have been very bland, like very just like. Well, you have Loki. I guess you have Loki. He's interesting in the comics too. More interesting in the films.
Let's just put it this way: in comic books back in the day, maybe not so much today, but you had like the villain match the hero. You had, you know, Captain America. You had Red Skull.
Yep.
Spider-Man, Green Goblin.
Yep.
You know, well, Spider-Man had more villains, but still.
Spider-Man's the Batman of the Marvel universe. He has the best rogue gallery when it comes to villains. My point is, there are a lot of interesting superheroes. Even before Marvel started the MCU, there was a lot of interesting Marvel heroes. You had the X-Men, Wolverine, you had Fantastic Four, you had the Hulk, you had Iron Man, you had Thor. I mean, you had, you know, Ant-Man. I mean, there's a lot of interesting. There's even characters that they haven't even done yet. Like you had, well, Blade. I guess they've done Blade, but it wasn't MCU Blade.
Not yet.
Not yet. But DC, I think DC has more interesting villains. You have Brainiac, you have the Joker, you have the Mad Hatter, you have I just lost his name now. It's a Superman villain.
Lex Luthor.
The Lex Luthor. There we go. You have Deathstroke. You have Deathstroke. I mean, but I'm saying, like,
I'm
they're
not
more.
a fan of Deathstroke. Sorry.
Not everybody's gonna fan all these characters, but my point is, like, how many superheroes can you name from DC that are interesting besides the CW ones? Oh wait, that's all of them. The Flash.
I like Nightwing.
Flash, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Green Lantern. Let's not talk.
Which one?
Let's not talk about the Green Lantern. But my point is that I feel like DC can really hit home if they focus on the villains, and I feel like that's what they're doing. Now they're gonna have some misses. They did Suicide Squad first.
And we're not gonna talk about that.
Terrible movie. They're doing Birds of Prey, and it looks like they're doing it in the same style, with the same universe as Suicide Squad. It's probably gonna be campy. It's probably gonna be bad. You have the reboot Justice League with James Gunn. I have hope that's gonna be good. Now, is Harley Quinn gonna be in that? The same actress?
I believe I heard, yes, but however, I also heard it's not an actual reboot.
It's a sequel-ish.
No, it's not. It's I think a little bit of both, maybe.
Yeah, but I guess my point is, I think, and here's the funny thing about the Joker movie. When it was first coming out, like the trailers are coming out, the director and the actor, Joaquin Phoenix, I probably said his name incorrectly, so I apologize. Joaquin Phoenix. He said this was a one-shot, that this film was written for him. Like, you could have just, honestly, this movie is so good, like, and it's a character study. It's a character study on mental health. What happens to a person. And you know what's funny? And a lot of people didn't. I kind of read some stuff before we went and saw this, so I was a little spoiled, but not too spoiled. They said that they didn't base this on any comics. Now, obviously, the Joker does not have a true origin in the comics. Like, there's several origins of the Joker.
Well, it's, if you look at it like how Heath Ledger's Joker told a story about how his wife had a gambling problem.
Yep, and his dad would cut his lips, and that's why he has a smile, stuff like that. It always changed. Like, every time he told it, it always
You wanna know how I got these scars?
Right, which was amazing. Here's a funny thing about this film. Despite the fact that this film was supposed to be not based off of any comic, they just used the name Gotham, they used Joker. You could just call him something. You could have not called him Joker. You could have called, you can call him not Thomas Wayne, you call him something else. You could not call it Gotham. You can call it something else. And this is still a fantastic movie. Like, it's very, very grounded. It's very, very grounded. It's very real. Like, I felt bad for him, and I started rooting for him. And I was like, it's a Joker, man. He's gonna kill people, and he kills people. He doesn't kill a lot of people, but he killed some people. Some people died, and it was gruesome kills. That was real.
I'm pretty sure he killed the doctor at the end too because of all the footprints.
Yep. But there's two things in this movie that kind of made me feel like it didn't happen. That was a twist right there. I didn't see that coming. The girlfriend.
Yep.
In the trailers, you're like, oh, he has a girlfriend. I'm thinking, oh, okay, I remember in the one comic or the one story, The Killing Joke. Yep. He was a struggling comedian. He had a wife. She was pregnant. She was killed. I think one version. I think the anime. Oh no, it was the comic version too, where he was supposed to help the Red Hood gang, and he puts a Red Hood mask on, and Batman shows up, and he falls into the toxic waste, and that's how he becomes a Joker. Blah blah blah. Because he went insane because he had one bad day. And then there's the other version of it, where the future version of it, where he is the Joker fighting Batman, and he says, Batman, you would have turned evil too if you just had one bad day. And Batman said, not every person who has one bad day is going to turn evil. That was the whole premise of it. And there was a moment in this film when he said, I had a bad day. Now, obviously, his life sucked. His life completely sucked from the beginning of the movie all the way to the end. It was like he had the worst life ever. And that sucked. So I felt for him. I was like, man, here's a guy who has a mental disorder living in a time period. I'm thinking this movie takes place in the 70s, right?
80s.
Or the early 80s, where mental disease and mental illness wasn't really... They didn't really think it was a disease or an illness. It wasn't
he wrote in his little journal, I'm going to paraphrase it. I'm probably wrong. If anyone watches this video knows the right one. It's where it's basically, it says, like, living... Or people think if you're with a person, or hold on, so if you're living with, so it's basically something about having a mental disorder, and if people, believing that, that you just don't.
Yeah, you don't. Like, if you can't see it, it's not real.
Yeah,
that's kind of how.
Like basically, living with a mental disorder is like, just like pretending you don't have it or something.
Pretending like you don't have it. Yeah, he was like, I he killed, the first murder he did. God, it was gruesome. But it wasn't gruesome. But it felt gruesome. It felt real.
I'm gonna come out flat out say it, but those guys were beating him up, and I'm gonna
self-defense.
Self-defense. Or however, I think he shot the guy in the ass. I'm not positive.
He shot him. I think he shot him in either the ass or the leg. He was enough for him to get away.
Let's put it this way. I mean, basically, yes, that would be murder because the guy actually was trying to get away and he followed him down. So yes, I guess that would be.
That would be considered manslaughter. The first one would have been. So the first two had been self-defense because it almost felt like the gun just went off.
And then there was his mom.
His mom. He smothered her. He smothered her. Maybe.
Not with affection.
He said no. Oh, okay, so there's a plot in this movie where his mom is sending letters to Thomas Wayne, and he's not responding because she worked for Thomas Wayne like 30 years ago. And it's revealed he finds that he takes one of the letters when she goes to bed. He reads it, and in the letter she says, your son Arthur and I are suffering, which gets him to think that Thomas Wayne is actually his father. And then he goes to find out like and then he goes to talk to Thomas Wayne, and Thomas Wayne says, "No, I'm not your father. Your mom was crazy." He goes to the hospital, steals the records, and finds out that not only was his mother lying because she also had disorders, and she had, she was crazy. I can't remember all the disorders that she had. But she basically fabricated the whole thing. Like, she believed that Thomas Wayne and her were in love, and that, she had adopted a child, and then she had a boyfriend who was abusive to the son, or the adopted kid, which is Arthur. Which then I think if you were paying it, it's hard to notice, but one of the things says that it wasn't his real name. Because he was adopted. She changed his name. Which kind of falls into the whole plot of the Joker not knowing his real name, or using different names and stuff. But with that element, also in the Killing Joke, I think he does go on a talk show and kill. Oh no, he kills everybody, doesn't he? With gas.
That's the Dark Knight Returns.
Or the Dark Knight Returns. He kills everybody with gas, which was a sequel, right, to the Killing Joke.
No,
so there's
no.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. You're right.
No,
it wasn't.
Dark Knight Returns was when Bruce Wayne was still Batman at 50 years old. And
Right. So there was a lot of comic book. It was weird. I felt a lot of comic book stories or just like material was used, even though they said it wasn't based off any comic. But I guess if you're telling the story of the Joker, and it makes you sympathetic to the Joker, it's like, man, he just had a mental disorder and he just went insane, and he finally decided to fight back.
It was one of those things where supposedly when DC was planning their extended universe, I believe they were actually going with more of an Elseworlds. And I actually liked that idea, because then you could actually have several different Batman, Superman, whatever movies.
You can do the Thomas Wayne Batman and have it not worry, and have the actor I want to play him. You could do another cool thing you can do is that you can do some of the Batman stories where Batman was like evil, like when he had the Green Lantern rings.
Well, yeah,
you can do shit like that, like crazy shit.
I think that's what DC would better be trying to do. Is like also like you could have like maybe movies that are interconnected. Not like the Marvel way, but you could still have movies that are connected.
Here's the thing that I think a lot of people, they're like, well, they gotta do it the Marvel way. No, do it the DC way. The DC way is having like you said, the Elseworlds.
Because there you could actually have a vampire Batman.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
And you could actually have it a rated R, a horror-esque movie with Batman.
And the question that people I saw online was like, well, because like we were talking about earlier, I was talking about earlier about, they said there wasn't gonna be a sequel to this. Even the movie does say the end. How many movies say the end of it? Like Back to the Future. Oh no, it's to be continued.
Yep.
No, that's right. But how many movies have said the end and they made a sequel? Or a prequel?
Well, here's the thing.
You know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything.
This movie doesn't need, basically, I read a headline that said that the director was trying to say that it's possible that this Joker was like the
inspiration for the real Joker that fights Batman. Now, here's the funny thing about that. The movie, Bruce Wayne's like 10. He's 10 when his parents die, right? Okay, so assuming he's 10, and this movie, the end of the movie, there's a riot that breaks out at the end because of everything that he did, because of killing the guy on TV and everything, which was funny because it was telegraphing that he was going to kill himself on live television. Whether that was true or he was really going to do that or not, I think is when they started making fun of him and everything, he just kind of snapped and took the guy out. But anyways, I've read people on Reddit and stuff like that have complained, saying, oh, well, that's stupid. Why can't he just be the real Joker? Or I even have people say, oh, this is the inspiration, or this is the prequel to the Heath Ledger's Joker, because there is a lot of similarities. But you have to remember that it's been confirmed. I don't know if they've actually gone, I haven't read too much into it, but it was confirmed in the DC, the new 52 or whatever.
52 of those 3 different
that
Jokers.
There's been 3 Jokers in the time frame that Batman's fought. So there could have been and just so you have like, if you count Gotham, they even said the same thing there. He's not the Joker. He's the inspiration for the Joker. He was the Joker, but I think DC got a hit here. I think
I think they've done this one right. It's interesting. It's a human.
It humanized the Joker,
You know,
or makes you think.
It's a character development film where you're like, well, you're actually rooting for the bad guy.
Right. Now here's the thing. Let's say, and he's actually done interviews where he said, yeah, he's totally wants to do this again. He loved doing it. You know, he'd be okay. He like before they said no, he's not gonna do the sequel. There's no, he's not gonna show up in the Batman movie or any other DC film. This is a one-off. Now here's the thing about that. This movie made a lot of money. Okay. Usually when movies make a lot of money like this, there's a damn sequel. Doesn't mean the sequel's gonna be good. Just means there's going to be one. Or he's gonna appear in something. Now here's the thing. Depending on how they take the Batman movie, how realistic they make it or not really, or make it comic booky, like the Ben Affleck I felt was really comic-y, or very comic book accurate in terms of look and feel, despite the acting, but that's not his fault. That was, you know. Can this Joker be in a Batman movie? Can this guy, this Arthur Fleck, be a nemesis to Batman?
Well,
yes.
Like, if you're looking at it this way, you'd have, since Bruce Wayne is
10,
good at least 20 plus years younger, you could probably do him with a Robert Pattinson, I think his name
right, yeah, Robert Pattinson. Oh, here's the thing. Because Batman, when he turns 20, goes off to train. So he's not really until like late 20s, 30s when he comes back to Gotham as Batman. So you're looking at 25 plus years for the Bruce Wayne that we saw as a kid, who had like maybe 2 or 3 scenes, and I don't think he even had any speaking lines. I think he had like 1 or 2 speaking lines.
Oh, I just said his name was Bruce.
I think his name was Bruce, that was it. If you were to take that and add 25 more years, who knows what this Joker is going to go through? You know, he could, and he has a following. Kind of like, you know, so I mean, he could be a threat to Batman. Maybe not in the sense of like, you know, the Mark Hamill version of Joker from the animated series or the comics, but it would work. It'd be fine. I don't know if he would be the main villain, but more of a he feels more like he's the mastermind. You know, he'd be more of the mastermind Joker.
We should have bought red noses and then honked them.
Oh, honked on noses, yeah.
But anyway,
but yeah. So, all right, so this is actually a pretty long video, but it was a lot to talk about.
Anyway, here's how we're gonna end it. If you actually watch this, seeing any Batman's whatever related with the Joker, who's your favorite Joker?
Who's your favorite Joker? Leave it in a comment down below.
I want to say mine. Joaquin Phoenix for this role is great. Heath Ledger was great for his. I'm not even talking about Jared Leto. I'm not gonna start a nerd war.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill for his Joker was great. I loved him in the answer, but I'm gonna go Jack Nicholson was my favorite Joker.
For a realistic look, if somebody were to become the Joker in real life, I would have to, it's a tie between Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger, because one is a Joker who has just become the Joker. He's kind of just fallen into it. Heath Ledger's Joker was I feel like he'd been around for a while, like kind of manipulating things, and then he decided it was time to come out of the shadows. So he was really, really because he won. I feel like he won in that movie. You know what I mean? And this Joker won too. For laugh and obviously the Mark Hamill Joker is the best. Yeah, I mean, for the iconic laugh and comic booky. But yeah, I would probably say Jack Nicholson was probably my favorite Joker too, just in terms of look and feel.
However, I'll give Joaquin Phoenix the laugh is actually matched pretty damn close to the Mark Hamill.
Oh yeah, it was a Joker laugh. It was definitely a Joker laugh. Yeah. So how are we gonna rate this? Because this is obviously a 10 out of 10, a 5 out of 5, a 2 thumbs up. This is obviously a good movie.
I'll give it a 9 because I have yet to see a perfect movie.
9? Why would you give it a 9?
Because I liked it. It was something different.
Something different. It was definitely something different. But we will give this 2 gas masks.
I said if we had a clown nose, we could have honk.
2 honk noses up.
Yeah, but we don't have clown noses.
Yeah, we didn't do that. I liked it. I don't know if a repeat viewing would have the same effect on me though, because the whole girlfriend thing, like, I started getting suspicious of it, just a little bit. Like there was something going on, and then all of a sudden, like, it turned into a. He was imagining it, and they do this quick scene where it shows all the different scenes earlier in the movie where he was with her and she wasn't. Which then, when they talked about him being in the mental hospital earlier in the film, and then it ended with him in the mental hospital, I was almost thinking, did he make the whole thing up? Was he just dreaming it? But then it cut where he's like, I just thought of a funny joke, and then it cuts to Bruce Wayne in the alley with his parents dead, and I was like, oh wait a minute, maybe the movie did happen.
Well, no, because they were actually sitting there just saying that, yeah, he was arrested and stuff. So.
Well, yeah, he was arrested, but then they were saying that, but then he got hit he got hit and was saved, and had the big old party with his.
No, because this was after.
Oh, was it after that? I thought. Well, they were saying on the news thing that he was arrested and he was in the car, and then the car got hit because they saved him, and then he rose up, and I like how he took his blood and did the smile, which is why I say it feels like a proto version of Heath Ledger's Joker, because I felt like his smile was like blood, or like, well, it was cut, it was cut, so I mean, like it was stained.
See, we all have smiles.
And then I like this new direction they're going, where Joker doesn't have to be completely all white. He just has paint on. I like that. Anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap this video up. It was a good movie. I liked it.
You know what?
Yep, they got it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, all that YouTube stuff, you guys know what to do. If you don't know what to do, then why are you watching my channel?
Yeah, stop watching.
Stop watching. Yeah, just stop watching. Okay. Yeah. Peace out, guys.